Hello everyone, it is Nick from Aussie Money Man, and in this video I want to talk about some ways I make extra income. I am currently working on a blog post and soon to be video as well that's going to be on passive income, specifically online, so look out for that. But this video is just going to be extra ways to make income. Most obviously are active, primarily active, and some are online, but this is kind of a mix of both, where the next video will be purely passive. And by the way guys, yes, I do have a different coloured Nike shirt. I don't know if in every other video I'm wearing a different coloured Nike shirt and people kept mentioning that, so look, I have another one. Yeah, deal with it. Oh, and by the way guys, I don't normally say this, I normally have to edit it in somewhere because I forget, but please do smack a like, that would be great, and also subscribe. I'd like to get to 100, that would be fantastic. That would be my crowning achievement in life. So alright guys, so the first one is participating in market research. So a lot of people don't know this because there's a lot of surveys out there, and I'm just about to post a blog post on surveys in general, and I might make a whole video about it because it makes a huge difference, and you'll see why in a second. Basically, some weeks I've made more than $500 alone from market research. So these aren't like Swagbucks and those sort of sites online where you're doing a 15-minute survey and you're getting paid $1.68 or something like that. That's kind of the going rate. And if you have a lot of spare time and you're bored, I mean maybe, but really I don't think it's worth most people's time. So I think if you understand that there are legitimate surveys and companies out there, and some of them are in real life and some are online, you can make decent money. And I'll list a lot of those in the link below to the blog post once that goes live, because I actually go through and I name all the best survey companies that there are, and that's both online and offline, and these are real high paying ones. So for example, I know there's one out there called Achievable, and it's online, and I've used it so much, and I've made at least a few $100s from it just by doing online interviews and stuff. So you go online, if you're eligible, you put in your details, they'll contact you if you're eligible, you book in for a 15 to 45 minute, generally it's about that time, interview or meeting, and you make up to $80 for it. And it's easy money. Like, you just answer questions, it's just a survey, obviously your details are confidential and so forth, so it's great. And furthermore, there's physical ones as well. So I actually did one recently. I got paid $60 just for trying new Coke flavors. So I got to try the new Coke flavors, which is something I'd probably do for free, and I got paid for it. And then I just had to sit there for 15 minutes giving back my feedback, just things like that. And there's been huge ones where I went to this forum for a day and it was $500 for the day, and just on a Saturday it was like a 4-hour forum, things like that, and that was actually for my local council. So there's a lot of a lot of things out there like that. Again, I'll link the specific blog post, but I definitely think it's important to utilize market research. And the way I actually find them, obviously you can look on these specific sites, which luckily I've got the list for because I found them over time, after I found one and realized how good it was, and kind of I've just been finding more and more, is I actually just like their pages on Facebook, and when they come up I see them, and I click the little see first thing, so I see them, and every time they come up I'm like, oh, awesome, I'll take that, and it's just easy money. So that's something definitely real, and that's something that everyone from all ages can do. So market research is probably my number one. Alright guys, so the second thing is more general. I didn't want to make it a specific thing because again the list would be real long, so it's just easier to kind of compress it. If you see my other videos you'll notice I do that. I don't want to be one of those people that just name 86 things that could be compressed into one. So it's pretty much to create things. So if you create something with value, you can get money for it. So some examples is my blog. I created something, I've created content, I've created value, hopefully. I can make money from that, and I do, because fortunately people do pay to put ads on your site. People do pay for you to mention a product, or if you do a review on something, for example, you can have an affiliation. Obviously you declare that, but you can make money. Every person who signs up from it, you get funds. And I know a lot of YouTubers, a lot of bloggers, and a lot of people just on the internet in general, they become influencers, and Instagram influencers is a perfect example, and you can make money from that. So if you have a sort of platform and outlet to be creative, we'll do that, and that goes for anything. I know, for example, I have a cousin that creates little pendants and sells them online, and makes money from it. Another example is I wrote an ebook on a sort of niche topic, nothing to do with this channel, but and I make money from that every time someone buys that. Unfortunately, that happens to be passive, but it's just another example of when you create something, it gives you an opportunity to make money. I'll give some examples, so it doesn't sound too broad. Like I know someone else, I've got someone I know who creates instrumentals of songs and sells them, particularly rap songs. Apparently there's a demand for that, and there's just so many things like that you can do, just by creating things or modifying things, and people will pay for your work. So I think like the best way to kind of put this is you're fixing a problem. So you find a problem and you solve it. That's the basic nature of business and society. But you can do this sort of on a smaller scale, as a sort of a side hobby. Last example, just remembered, even things like drop shipping and Shopify, you create a store, you're creating some sort of value. It's easy, it's there, it's available, people will buy from it, and then you can get reoccurring customers, start email marketing, etc. A lot of these things are things that I've done myself, minus the pendants and the instrumentals. I wouldn't know how to do that. Alright guys, so another thing is just teaching or tutoring. So this is meant to be another broad one. So pretty much, if you have a skill of any sort, you can probably get paid for it. So if you know how to play any instrument, I know that's really lucrative. A lot of people pay a lot of money, and the more sort of rare that instrument is, the more you'll get paid for it. So if you're someone who can play the violin, that's very kind of profitable. And even the guitar, people will pay 30, 40, even more an hour to teach them or their kids how to play. So that's definitely something, and this applies to everything. So I studied year 12 chemistry, got a pretty good rank, nothing amazing, and multiple people pay me to help them out with it. And originally started as one, and then two, and then friends sort of told each other, and that kind of became an extra source of income too. And that that can be up to a few hundred a week as well, and it really does make a difference. So if you have a skill in any area, you can probably utilize that, and even if it's from your job, you can probably get online and teach someone, or there's so many things like I think Udemy, you create courses, and even Fivver, if you know graphic design, I think it's common for that. But everything, even if you're just good on camera, people will pay you to create short videos talking about their products and all sorts of things. So I definitely think if you have a skill, you can teach it. Alright guys, so this is a more general one, but it definitely makes a difference. So as you guys probably know from my YouTube videos, I'm invested in peer-to-peer lending, and I am quite a fan of peer-to-peer lending. And with those sort of returns, given that you take advice from my most recent video, check that out if you're interested, and you invest carefully and you do risk mitigate, you can make a pretty good portion of money from that. So once you get enough kind of saved up and invested, the money that you get a week from your investments can be significant, and I've found that myself. So while I started off making $15 a week, and then it jumped to 30 when I put in more and more and more, it's really just exponential. So it's literally exponential. It's compound interest, because I'm reinvesting that money, and then when it gets to a certain point, I'll probably start utilizing some of that, because I can. That's the great thing about it. So it's just extra income. You put your money to work for you, and then you won't have to work. Okay, guys, and the final one is not so much a side hustle, but it's an important note, and I think a lot of people forget this. So if you do, particularly if you're a young person, or I guess this applies to anyone, but it is easier for young people, and you're working in a job that pays $19, $20 an hour, look around for other jobs. So I'll give you a great example. Is just what I did. I think it's the best way I can put it. I went online and I applied for over 50 jobs, so at least 50. I counted, and I could find 50 of them, but there was probably a lot more that will, quite frankly, just most of them, 95% of them will kind of above my grade, above my experience, and I just kept doing it because I figured at one point someone was going to give me a go, and they did, and I got a role where I was on $43 an hour. Now I've since left that, kind of work on what I'm doing here full time for now anyway, and I'll see where I end up. But pretty much that made a huge difference. So I went from $19 an hour, to 43 just by spending some time working on it. And you think that makes a big difference, and the whole reason for that is because, well, time is valuable, and I know a big thing I've said before, and I've obviously got this from a lot of gurus where they say you shouldn't be working for money, you should be working to learn, so don't work to earn. Work to learn is how the saying goes, and I think that's true. But if you are going to do a job that is kind of that's there for the money, well, you might as well get paid well for it. So that's something that I always recommend, and that makes a big difference. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. Again, please do like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, down there somewhere, that direction. And yeah, that would be fantastic. I do keep an eye out for my new video. I'll be probably making a video on passive income, particularly online, so my online sources of income, and just maybe some other ones that you guys could utilize. I normally only talk about and write about things I've done, or I know someone close that's done, that I know it works, because I know there's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of people out there that are they're making their money by telling people how they're making money, but they're not making money from the thing that they're claiming they are, and it's just snake oil. It honestly makes me sick. I hate it so much. So just when I'm talking about things, it's because they're things I've done. Even that RateSetter review I did, I'm invested with RateSetter. I'm not reviewing things I don't know anything about, haven't read, interacted with, or experienced myself. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe.